Hey there, folks. It's Zach at Feel Free to Argue. I want to talk a little bit about some of the interesting stories coming out of the McCain campaign lately. A couple of things I want to talk about. First one is about Cindy McCain, and the second one is about John McCain, the man himself. Now, normally I don't like to get into character issues, but these I find intriguing mostly because of the fact that they're so completely unnecessary. Let's look at Cindy McCain first. Cindy McCain, at a certain point, went over to Bangladesh, and she went to an orphanage. And it was an orphanage that was set up by Mother Teresa, part of her charitable work. And she found a couple of children there. Both of them needed medical attention, and she worked hard to get those out of the country and later adopted one of the children. And I think this is, once again, this is an unqualified good. I think this is great that she did this. I think it helps to kind of defang some of the criticism of McCain, a la, his gook comments and always hating Asians, because, it's a Southeast Asian child. So I think there are a lot of really positive elements about this. However, at a certain point, there was an additional element added to the story and this was on the McCain website, of Mother Teresa personally imploring Cindy McCain to take the children, those specific children. And so there was an actual meeting where Cindy McCain and Mother Teresa and the children were there, and she was, made a personal request of Cindy McCain that she do this. And this started getting some people curious because it just didn't seem right. And they started investigating. Of course, they find out that Mother Teresa was not there at that time when Cindy McCain was in Bangladesh. Mother Teresa was, in fact, in Mexico, where she fell ill and then was later moved to La Jolla, California. So there was no direct meeting. And I think this is interesting because it takes something which initially is an absolute unqualified good and sullies it, actually, by trying to gild the lily, by trying to make it too good. And I think this is exactly the same thing that happened with John McCain and this wonderful little Christmas story that he had in the ad from last Christmas, where he talked about his experiences as a POW. And apparently there was there was a guard who came over and drew a cross in the sand with his sandal. And he and McCain looked at each other for a little bit and looked at the cross, and then he knocked the cross out with his foot and kind of rubbed it back into the sand so nobody could tell it was there. And it was a very compelling story, a story of, how across the cultural divide, an acknowledgement of humanity and of our common belief in Jesus Christ, and refinding the strength to carry on. And it's very, very, this is the kind of story that people just laugh up. People love this stuff. I hate it because I think it's garbage. But I know that this story is a powerful story that a lot of people find terribly compelling. But I wonder if they would still find it compelling if they found out that he had just plagiarized it from Alexander Solzhenitsyn, which is what people have basically found out since then. And there are a lot of reasons to believe this. The first is that immediately upon his release, McCain wrote a 12,000 word treatise on basically his entire time in captivity. And he only mentioned one instance of kindness. He said it was the only instance of kindness, and it was when he had been in stress positions for a while. They had been forcing him to sit in a chair until it was very, very painful for him. And this guard let him lay down for a while. And he said that was the only guard that was ever kind to him, and that was the only time anyone had ever been kind to him. Okay, maybe he forgot. Well, he forgot until 1998 when this story surfaced. Now, the interesting part about it is that it would be a different situation if McCain never talked about Solzhenitsyn, but he talks about Solzhenitsyn, having read his work, of admiring him, considering Solzhenitsyn to be a personal hero. So, I just don't see how he could have this experience, which is very, very similar to an experience that Solzhenitsyn describes in one of his books, talking about how another prisoner comes up to him and makes the sign of a cross in the sand, and they share a moment, and then they rub the cross back into the sand, and it reaffirms his faith and it gives him the courage to go on. So you have these very similar stories. You have the fact that John McCain didn't remember it immediately after his situation, remembered it like 20 years later, and it's just the exact same story as somebody he's claimed as a personal hero and he's claimed he's read his works. So this is all terribly damning stuff. And I think it says a lot about, his character, what he thinks about the nature of truth, what he thinks people will buy, what he thinks he can get away with. It says a lot of stuff. But most important of all, I think the gall, honestly, of both of these things is staggering. The gall and the stupidity of it, because both of them are so unnecessary. I mean, you adopt a child that needs medical attention from Southeast Asia, a poor child from, an orphanage that's set up by Mother Teresa. I mean, you do not need to gild that lily. I mean, that's good enough. That's going to be good enough for anybody. You don't need to fix that. That's fine. And John McCain. I mean, I know there are some people out there on the fringe who badmouth John McCain's time as a POW. Now, I don't want to get into that, because I think that's just low, sleazy crap. And I don't want to talk about that period of time. I mean, I'll talk about him not deserving to be in those planes because he was really low in his class in terms of graduating, fifth from the bottom. I mean, that was nepotism. That's why he was in that plane. But once he got shut down and he spent that time in the POW camp, I'm not going to rag on him, because being a POW sucks. It sucks no matter what, and he put up with that, as a member of the United States, and I give him credit. But I don't give him any credit going forward. I give him credit for that as an individual situation. But most people will give him credit for that as a compartmentalized thing, and even beyond that. I mean, they'll say that, it shows that he has character and moral fiber and all this other garbage. But the most important thing about it is, it's fine the way it is. He did not need to add this other little piece to it about the cross. And you know why he added it? Because of the religious conservatives that don't buy his 11th hour conversion to be heartfelt on their side. I mean, they still remember him as the person who called Jerry Falwell a clown and then later apologized to clowns for the insult. They have long memories in the religious right. They don't remember shit. They don't forget shit like that. They hang on to it. They know that McCain is not a true believer. They know it. And so if it gets out that this little thing is pirated from Solzhenitsyn, that's not going to be good for him. That's not going to be good for him at all. And so I think it's stupid and unnecessary. And I don't know why he did it. I mean, well, I do know why he did it, but I don't know what made him think he was going to get away with it. I just don't. But, a lot of things about politics totally mystify me. I'm not going to give up trying to figure it out, but you know what? I don't think I ever am. Thanks for watching, people.